Hey, what's going on? John Lee here with another awesome video. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. If not, go fuck yourself. In this video, I wanted to talk about how some companies, even though they're small companies, can create a hostile work environment and fuck the little guy. And they really don't care about it. But I just wanted to actually provide some details because some comments in some of the other videos said something about, oh, there's probably more to this story I'm probably leaving out. There's a lot to this story that I'm fucking leaving out, and that's because I didn't want to fucking tell it yet. I've been really cautious and careful not to drop anybody's names, not the name of this company. But man, I tell you what, I want to so bad. And at some point, if I do end up suing them, well then fuck it. And here's the thing, I wanted to make a note. I was thinking about it last night. I don't have to fucking hide anybody's fucking name. I don't have to fucking conceal the identity of this bullshit, bitch-ass, petty-ass company. I do that because I have integrity and I have respect for my former team and my former co-workers. I absolutely loved the guys that I worked with. I loved my team. So the only reason, just to be clear, that I'm not dropping the names just yet of this business, pardon me, is out of respect for them, not out of respect for the company. So when I first got there, and I think I made a video about it, and it was pretty much how it all started, was handing out bonuses, and they weren't very clear. So right when I got there, like a week after or 2 days, I was on my second week, and they were giving out bonuses, and they called us all into the office, and our supervisor basically told everybody, you know, if you got a problem, you know, it's your problem with your truck, it's your truck. Here's your raises. We're going to have an 8% raise out there. Everybody's going to be mad. He didn't have nothing to say or do about it. And so basically, a couple of our really good techs and our mainline techs were getting fucked. They didn't really have the correct titles and positions and pay for everybody. It was really kind of unfair. One of the fellas that was my trainer got really fucked, and a couple of our couple other guys really got pathetic fucking raises and bonuses compared to some of the new guys. And so, you know, you don't hand out and deliver that kind of information in a group setting and then handed out everybody a bonus. And I was new and wasn't expecting anything, but I still felt kind of like not part of the team initially, but that was okay with me. I wasn't really a little crybaby bitch about it. But I noticed that it caused some conflict and some hostility, and then, you know, between the guys. And then we also had, you know, some lovers quarreling situation where, you know, who you are was fucking, you know, somebody else. But I have to say, I think that this fella was trying not to disrespect his homeboy, but in either case, he was fucking this other gal that this other guy was fucking. And we'll call the other guy Pow Pow because of the starter incident. And I'm gonna give, you know, everybody names, but for now, we'll call him Pow Pow. Was fucking this girl, and then the other guy started fucking her, and then it seemed like it was a little bit of drama, and then they both started fucking somebody else, and then nobody gave a fuck. But the issue about the money was definitely an issue. Nobody wanted to help each other. At that point, when I felt like if I had any kind of issue and I took it to leadership or my supervisor, he basically would be like, oh, I don't know. That's your problem. Figure it out. And so that's kind of the policy there. Very unclear set of expectations. Very shitty training as far as, you know, we didn't do one complete install of fiber. We didn't do one complete install, start to finish, of coax, nor did we do the same for DSL. So the training is fucking pathetic. And I sat in with my trainer on a couple of customer experience meetings, which I was trying to be a part of because, you know, all of those little details matter, and that's why we were all technicians, because we give a damn about, you know, the details. But it gets even better. So once there was all this hostility, I called HR and was like, hey, you know, we got people pissed off and don't want to help other people, and other people are taking everybody's time and needing help on a lot of jobs, but they're making the same amount of money, and now everybody's disgruntled. And they assured me that it wasn't going to be an issue, and they were so sorry that, you know, that was an issue. But then after I called HR, it was brought to my attention that Pow Pow and a couple of other guys had made complaints to HR and about our supervisor, calling them names, being really fucking rude, really unhelpful, but really just being downright rude and name calling and shit like that. Then they were calling HR. Then everybody was mad at our supervisor. And then instead of, which at that time I should have went to his boss before I went to HR. I was unaware of who the fuck Little Boss and Big Boss were at that time. And I felt that it was hostile enough to go directly to HR and pretty much, you know, report my concerns immediately, because it wasn't something that, you know, needed to roll up and then roll back down. It was something that needed to be addressed that day, or I wasn't going to be comfortable continuing to do my job or be able to do it effectively and efficiently. So after that, and everybody started calling and complaining, they shipped our supervisor up to the north office, and then supposedly he wasn't going to be allowed back at our office for like 30 days. And I thought for sure they were basically giving him 30 days, and all the guys were talking about it thinking, oh yeah, he's probably gone. He had issues with our inside plant people. He had issues with his immediate team. And so instead of actually given any kind of disciplinary action for the hostile work environment, they created another position within the company for this supervisor so that he could keep his job. But here's the real kicker. Not only was he able to keep his job, they created a position for him that allowed him to make better money than anyone else at our office. And so that's how little to big companies, even though it's a little company, they get big money. And then I had a buddy of mine tell me that they've got so much fucking money. They've got millions, like almost 100 million in reserves. So they don't give a fuck about little people like me expressing themselves or voicing their opinion or having any kind of problem with unclear set of expectations or a hostile work environment, or, you know, trying to actually fix problems, because that's what we fucking do. So that was the actual position that I applied for outside plant design engineer, and it had to do with mapping. And I was trying to, you know, according to everything in the fucking deal, sounded like it would be something I'd be interested in, whether I was pre-qualified, underqualified, or qualified enough for the position at all. But my point is there was a lot of hostility, and a lot of the guys were upset, and this was reported to HR, you know, within the company. And the company had an obligation and a responsibility to show accountability, do an investigation, you know. But because this individual has lived in this town all his life, and he's an old school boy, and, you know, he's real kind of quiet, and at least that's what I saw from him. And then hearing all this other shit that had been happening, so all the guys were telling me they were, you know, couldn't believe I had the balls to just go to HR and let them know, and they really appreciated it. And to be honest, they didn't want to work with this guy. And the position that he got, the guy that would be training him wasn't excited about it either. I asked that individual who would be doing the training for that position if I would be a good fit, and he said, yeah, you're smart, you ask a lot of questions, you're creative, you're bringing new technology to the table. And so that's where that stood. But even though this guy created a hostile work environment and was terrible leadership, he was terrible to his employees, very unhelpful, very unuseful in the field. I didn't see hardly any applicable knowledge or experience. And almost everybody that I talked to said that this guy, they had worked with him before, and he was a really shitty technician that everybody always had to go behind and check their work. And so automatically from day one, I didn't have any respect for him because, one, the things that I was hearing from the other people, but two, and mainly, that I didn't see him, actually in the field trying to help anybody. When I did have a problem, he wasn't very helpful. I didn't feel very comfortable being able to approach him with any of my concerns, and when I did, they were just my problem. And then when I heard that he was, name calling and treating other technicians like shit, and then just basically acting like everything was our problem, and really creating and maintaining a hostile work environment. I was so relieved when I thought that he wasn't going to be there anymore. And then one of the guys, a lot of the guys were talking, and they're like, no, let's just give him a chance. Let him come back, do the right thing. Rebuild that trust and that integrity. And the thing is there just was no transparency. And that's what led to the hostile work environment. Was you have a leadership or a supervisor that treats their employees bad like that, and then you are, instead of disciplining them or firing them or terminating them immediately, you create a whole nother position and basically give them a promotion. You create a position just for them within the company, and then you don't let anyone else interview for the position. So because he lives in that town and you don't want to make no waves and you want to keep him on board, instead of firing the guy for doing a shitty job and treating people like shit and creating a hostile work environment, you create a promotional position that pays him more money than all the other guys that he treated like shit. And then you let him still work in the same office. So then when I created a stink about not getting an opportunity to interview, it just showed me that there is no trust, there's no integrity, there's no transparency. One morning we walked in and he just wasn't our supervisor anymore. Got an email. So for Big Boss to talk like, why didn't I just come in and talk to him? And that's because, well, Little Boss and Big Boss pretty much carry the same attitude about being approachable and not giving a fuck about what anybody thinks. And basically they just want technicians to fall in line. They don't want you to have a voice or an opinion or really be your own individual. Or if you don't like something and it's, the right thing to do to speak up, well, you're going to be penalized and more than likely terminated. So I'm looking forward to the day when I can see everybody again, speak freely about all this shit, and drop some names because, well, that's just what I do. I'm John Lee. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. And if you see any of these people, tell them I said hi.